The podcast is back. Welcome to Tasler Guide Service. Join along as my guests and I dive into our outdoor adventures, share some laughs, and of course a few beers. A new episode will be released every other Friday at 5 a.m. I hope you guys have as much fun watching as we did making it.
I think I'm slowly getting over being cursed because, like, I had crappie fishing and then I've been having stuff break.
Yeah.
Like, mostly electronic things. Like the motherboard fried on the Talon 2 weeks after I got it.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's covered under warranty, but it's still fried. And then
Then you still had to take it off and put it back on.
Still had to take it off, drive hour round trip to drop it off, and hour round trip to discover that they couldn't, like, it was finished, but the guy who was there to process the warranty stuff, who needed to be there, wasn't there, even though they're open, like their normal business hours. So I drove all the way there, and they're like, yeah, you can't have it because this guy's not here. I'm like, seriously? Are you freaking kidding me? And he just looked me in the eye and goes, no. All right. Walked out and then ended up coming back. I was kind of pissed off about that, but yeah, my trolling motor's not. It's like intermittently responding to the remote control.
Oh.
Yeah. So guess who I get to take it back to?
With the current up.
The same guy.
Yeah.
With the current up and fish starting to bite.
Right.
Now your trolling motor's
Well, I mean, I don't need a trolling motor around here. It's a really nice thing to have, like, for precision anchoring and things like that. But for bumping, I will have to have it. Yeah. So my morning tomorrow is going to include me hauling it over to the service place. And
what do you got, a Trova?
Yeah, and they're pretty bulletproof overall. It might just be something really dumb, but I don't know. I don't know that much about it.
Did you switch the batteries out in the controller?
Yeah. Yep, right.
It's got this blinking light on the remote. I don't know.
Yeah.
So do you use the foot controller or just the
I just
remote?
use the remote.
That's what I did too.
Yeah.
I had the auto deploy.
Oh, you have the Ulterra.
The Ulterra is what I had. Yeah. The Tarova's the next one down. That's self. You got to deploy it yourself.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a downgrade. It's a
probably
downgrade in price.
Right. It's probably got better spot lock too if it's a newer one.
It's probably the exact same as the Ulterra and Trova spot lock technology is the exact same. The only thing difference is when you push a button and it deploys, and that's one more thing that can break.
Does it keep you in like the 10-foot radius? Because when I bought one of the first Ulterras, and if you're out on the lake, it's going anywhere from like 10 feet. Like you almost get thrown off the.
Mine keeps me within
boat.
a foot or two.
Yeah, this was the old. Probably needed to.
The GPS was not.
Yeah, the
pinpointed.
GPS is a little jacked up.
You know what? I thought it was broke, but it wasn't, because I was trying to spot lock under a big concrete bridge, and apparently the satellite signal
wasn't getting
work. Because it about threw me out of the boat a couple times.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mine did that all the time. Like we were down White Bass, and I hit spot lock. This was the first time I had it, and my buddy's like, "I think your boat's drunk." Like it was just going back, just up front end, and then it get like winded up and then turn off. There's an auto feature on that.
Yeah, where it
That would
turns
drive
one
me
way
insane.
too far.
Yeah.
What? You sound quiet on my mic.
Well,
there you go.
I need to get real close.
Yeah, pretend it's a snow cone.
Okay.
You're eating a snow cone.
Watermelon flavored.
Whatever. I mean,
Or naturday.
Are these watermelon flavored?
These are strawberry lemonade.
Okay.
And it's almost the summer. I mean, it's late spring. A few days till the summer solstice.
This is what I call bad influence.
It's really good.
You are who you spend. When they say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now you're influencing me negatively.
You got to be out of the 5.
I don't know where I was going with all that. But the moral of the story is I'm drinking this chick beer now because of you.
Hey, it's every day's naturday.
I sound like you walked out of a commercial. Are you sponsored by that?
Yes.
Make sure you work your punch line.
If you don't drink naturdays, then I won't say that part.
Suck it.
Yeah. But speaking of beers, I did try the Busch Light Peach, and I was not impressed at all.
I wasn't impressed by the Busch Light apples.
See, I like the apple.
Some people went crazy over those, but I can't drink much sweet stuff.
I was going to say, kind of like this. I didn't have one, and it tastes good. Yeah. And after that, I just need a beer.
I can have one, then I can have another.
And it becomes a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What's on the agenda, Ryan? Well, we could introduce our guest.
I got called to the table. I have no agenda.
Oh, well, let's
I didn't
start
know.
with introducing our guest then.
Yes, let's do
Or
that.
you want to I don't want to speak for you. You're a grown ass man. You speak for yourself.
I am. I'm old. So
Hey,
my name.
everyone, this is Greg.
Hey, my name's Greg.
My name's Greg Sieck. I live west of Des Moines. I met Spencer out on the river a few times. Actually, no, we met down at Red Rock when I had my Sieck Predator before you bought yours.
Yeah, I reached out to
Yeah.
Greg
Yeah.
about like, hey, can I take it for a test drive when I was trying to figure out what boat I wanted to get for sure.
Yep.
You were nice enough to let me.
And I was
drive
actually, I was down there staying with my family at Cordova Cabins, and you're like, hey, I know where we can go catch fish. I'm like, okay, that sounds good to me.
Win-win.
So, yeah, we went down there and caught a bunch of Gasper goose.
There's no quotation marks
Oh.
necessary.
Okay,
They're
freshwater
goddamn
drums.
Gasper
But
goose.
we caught
Pounded.
one after another. I bet we caught 50 to 100 fish.
Yeah, it was catching. It
They
was
were
a
all-
day of catching.
You
All
caught
purple nurples.
You caught one flathead that was about, I don't know, 10
Caught a few
inches.
white bass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some white bass.
That was the day where we caught the weirdo ones with the eyeballs poking out.
Right.
It looked like
You brought them up from the deep.
Yeah, from the deep sea
Except
fishing.
it was
Yeah.
in like 12 feet of water.
Yeah.
So I have no explanation for that one. That was when it was real low too, and I got to see what them predators can do. And I'm not sponsored by Sieck or anything, but I can tell you if you want to drive through like 3 inches of water going 45 miles an hour, Sieck Predator will do it.
Yeah, with 7 people in it.
Yeah, that's
Holy
the nuts
crap.
part. Like my
Yeah,
boat
you never
does.
got a ride on it.
I ended up going with the outboard jet just because of room is the main reason that I wanted to go that route. But the whole shot and power of that inboard jet is crazy.
I bet.
But, I mean, you're talking almost twice the motor, really, because
Yep.
mine's a 105 and yours, it's a 200, so it's probably like 180 to 185 at the jet, and so it's not quite twice the
But
motor.
that's a big difference.
But it's a big
Yeah.
difference, and you feel it.
Yeah,
That's
I-
like my 90 and your 105.
Dude, your boat gets on plane quicker than mine does.
Yeah, but it's half the weight too.
Yeah,
And we're
probably half the weight, and then only 40 less horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we're talking about the Predator, but I end up selling it and buying a 1448 MV Sieck,
which is
with
a
the-
cool
with the
little
25.
rig.
Yeah, and that's what.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
what we
the
saw
first
you
time that we met, we were out on the river just south of the bridge, and I'm not sure that we caught any fish, but you probably remember.
Mm-hmm.
But
I remember watching you on the struggle bus driving that little thing around.
It's
different.
Yeah, that Sieck, you could whip it around, like you could like drift it. This thing is try to get up on plane as fast as you can and don't hit anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet I would have a lot of fun with that thing.
Oh, and in the small rivers and creeks, yeah.
Is it still for sale?
You want to buy it, or anybody out there?
I'm
wants to buy it?
thinking about it. I'm really thinking about it.
I'll give you a little bit better deal than what we have marked.
Can we maybe work some trades in?
Some naturdays, or what?
Maybe.
I got it for $14.95.
Got a steal.
But you got your media thing too.
Yep. So
It's mostly hunting though. Isn't it?
yeah, so Jesse and I started Outdoor X Media a couple of years ago, and we grew it. We have like about 40 to 50 team members, and
Oh, wow.
we started it with Outdoor X meaning anything. So we have a YouTube channel, Facebook page, Instagram, that kind of thing, and we're going to start a podcast eventually, and probably have both you guys on
That'd be fun.
whenever we do that.
Can we
So-
drink more Naturdays?
Yes, that's
Okay.
all you can drink. We're,
shit.
we're sponsored by them.
so that's going to be a 15-minute podcast.
No, but yeah, so we mainly target deer hunting. We do like to catch flatheads from every now and again. So you'll see us on the river. We see you guys quite a bit. The various stretches, which we've only made it out twice this year. Part of that's because Jesse and I both have lives. We have kids, and
But you've always
It's hard.
had lives and kids.
well,
But the fishing has sucked so far.
True, the fishing has sucked.
That's
We
true.
caught one 40-pounder the first outing, and then the second outing we went 9 for 10, still had 9 bullheads on that weren't even
Just to
bit, so.
clarify, Greg's running Ditty sticks.
Yes.
And that makes me feel better about the rod and reel struggles when you're struggling on Ditty pulls.
Yeah.
Because I'll sit there and think, I'll have like these 2 or 3 spots that I'm thinking about fishing. And then I pick the one that I pick, and I'm like, and I don't catch shit. And I always wonder, like, would it have made a difference if I was over here or over here? And when you have diddy poles that do get to fish multiple locations, and none of them get hit,
still struggle. Yeah,
you don't have that concern as much.
Right.
And that makes me feel better that maybe I'm not an idiot. Well, an idiot for that reason.
Right. And when it comes to diddy poles, so we can run 5 per person here in Iowa, and with basically a 3-person boat, a 2-person boat, we can only run 10. Where when we had 7 to 8 people on the Sea Art Predator, it was like, let's get these diddy poles out, and it'd be like 4 hours later. So we have diddy pole. It's a chore catching that much bait. So.
Dude, that'd be the number one drawback for sure. I haven't ran diddy poles in a long time, and I freaking love them. They're fun.
They're fun.
If I had more time, I'd still keep doing it. Some people talk shit on them.
Quite a few people.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where both sides of it. It's like if somebody's running diddy poles and they're bragging about like the fish they catch. In my mind, a 50-pounder on a diddy pole isn't as impressive as a 50-pounder on rod and reel.
Yeah.
So if somebody's talking shit like I'm the greatest fisherman in the world and they only run diddy poles, I think they're putting themselves out there to get knocked down. But if you just run diddy poles because they're fun, and they are freaking fun,
that's why we do it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
So
see anything wrong with that.
we like to catch big fish, and we have a really good time doing it.
It's a great way to see a big fish.
It is, but
and also
we're not
really
fishermen.
Drunk.
Right.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So we have a lot of fun catching these fish. When I say we're good fishermen, no, we're good at setting traps. I will say
it is trapping.
Yeah,
flatheads,
and that's the same thing. Like when I go out and set 150 traps and I catch 100 coon a night, and that guy with a coon dog goes out and gets 5, we were both just as successful because he was in one spot doing all the work himself, and I had 15, 20 miles of raccoon to hit.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a dynamic shift with the guys that used to run diddy poles, like my grandpa and his friends. They also used to electroshock, which was illegal, but they'd run poles and they would catch and keep everything.
Yeah.
The guys that are going out there now, just like you said, like to see the big fish, let them go. You know, some of them
most of them,
catch, clean, and cook. We usually, maybe 1-2 fish a year when we catch 50 to 100, depending on how much we go.
Yeah, I kill more flatheads than you do.
And they're all just as delicious.
They are.
They're so good.
But the ones that give the diddy pullers a bad name are the diddy poles you see there with the lines rotting off. It's been there for the whole season,
or hanging off a limb, which is illegal.
It's trash at that point in time. It does suck. I rescued a pelican a couple years ago that was actually hooked in the eyeball.
Oof.
And I videotaped it, and I decided not to include it in the video because I thought it would. I don't want to give diddy pole guys any worse names. Not that those people are helping themselves by leaving those unbaited lines out, but that's the stuff that can happen if you don't yank them.
Yeah, and that's the same deal as a poacher. That they're not a diddy poler. They're doing it illegally.
Yeah.
So can't lump them in.
I have some great memories growing up. Like that little creek I grew up on, and we dragged this 10-foot John boat down this steep ass mud bank and haul a car battery down and hook up a trolling motor to it and beat that trolling motor up on rocks going up and down. And we thought we were doing something when you were 15, setting all these catching channel cats and stuff, and it was a whole bunch of fun. And then when I lived northwest of here, the house I was renting was 0.8 miles from the boat ramp on a pretty good stretch of river, and I had that 1448 with that 9.9 on the back of it. And during the summers, 3 or 4 days a week, I'd go out like 6, 7 o'clock, run up river, set my 5 diddy sticks, and then fish till midnight, come back down, check them, rebait them, head back home, get a decent night's sleep, wake up, sip some coffee, put the boat back in the water, run back up, check them, yank them, and then maybe do it again that night, or maybe 2 nights, whatever. But 3-4 nights a week I was doing that.
Hell yeah.
It was a rough life.
With the PVC poles, or do you have willows?
When I was a kid, we ran willows, and then my buddy Ross introduced me to the PVC pole That's a major upgrade.
It
right,
is.
right.
Yeah.
So the PVC,
You don't have to freaking cut them every time.
right. The downgrade to the PVC is they hold a lot of water and mud, and when you stick them in there, they get so heavy eventually. Now we're on.
See, I didn't. Well, the other thing is you fill the end of
with
it
rebar.
with rebar,
Yep.
and you heat it up, and then take not a hose clamp, and when it's hot, crank it down as hard as you can, so
So
it
it bites
cinches
in.
that
See,
into that.
We
rebar.
never did that. We just had diddy poles that just were angled so incredibly until we have the fiberglass poles, which.
You gotta get close to that mic, bud.
Sorry.
There you go.
Can you hear me better?
Welcome to the
Snow
podcast.
cone. Okay. So it's the diddy poles we used to use were just the PVC 3/4 inch,
Yeah.
like 7-8 footers, and
3/4 pretty stout. I think
Yeah.
I used half.
it was
Really?
it was 3/4.
It was 3/4. Mine are.
Yeah. The half's really wobbly. But
Once again, I'm not.
yeah,
The nuance escapes me in diddy pulls. Other than I have a pretty good feel about where to stick them.
Yeah.
As far
Right,
as
where to,
the mechanical
Right,
things,
right.
I'm lacking.
and now we're just using the fiberglass poles. The couple companies make them. I think it's like Cat Daddy LLC or something like that. But they have like gray 8-foot fiberglass poles. And those will hold a 70-pound fish all day.
Oh, I'm
so.
sure. Are they the little thin wispy ones? Or
Yeah,
are they bigger, thicker ones?
they're kind of in between. We've had both. The thinner ones, and they'll hold a big fish too.
Right.
But I mean, it's you can grab 10 of them just like that, where you had 10 of the
big
3/4
wad of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you had to like strap them down.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that always pissed me off with diddy pulls is the lines. Like I would try to hook the hook on the hose clamp or wrap it around the pole to tighten the line and then hook it around the hose clamp. And they'd always come unhooked. And then
because the PVC would bend and then the hook
and
would pop
everything
out.
would be
Yeah.
Yep.
tangled up and had
Yep.
this, even just 5 poles, because I only ever didn't take a big group and have like 50 lines out or anything. I always just had 5, and it would still become
still
this
bad.
tangled ass
Right,
mess
right.
that would piss me off no end.
Yeah. Now the hose on the little fiberglass poles, it sticks pretty good. I mean,
Okay.
we've had a few that, but nothing like with the PVC.
The
so
finer points of diddy sticks.
Yeah.
That's right. My buddy made some out of golf flags. From
That's the PVC.
Yeah,
or
that's the
that I'm
fiberglass.
thinking
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It just seems
Yeah.
so little and whippy.
yeah.
Oh, they're pretty sturdy,
Yeah.
actually. The ones that he made, anyway.
Mhm.
I haven't seen the manufactured ones, but yeah, if you know anybody that has access to golf accessories,
Don't tell anybody to go out there and rob a 18-hole golf course. I don't know where all the flags went.
holes,
Sorry.
holes 1 through 5 don't have flags on it.
You could find them down at the river.
Right.
It'd be even better if they just left them
Left
with
the flag on it.
'em. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder where these come
There's
from.
hole number 8. You're giving your viewers a bad idea.
That's all right.
No.
They've probably already had it.
Don't do this at home.
I mean, to me, the difference between a good person and a bad person isn't what you think; it's what you do.
Right.
Everybody
Thank
has,
God.
You can have the
everybody
stupidest
has these
ideas as long as you
bad
don't do them.
thoughts
Yeah.
that-
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me, but I definitely have some really bad thoughts that run through my head, and I just don't act on them.
Right.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
It's the what if I did that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be neat?
Yeah. That's all I got. in
Like
trouble.
sometimes I think about punching Ryan right in the jaw,
Right in the mouth.
and then I haven't yet.
Yeah, that day's coming.
A few more natter days.
A few more natter days, a few more ass whoopings on the river.
Son of
And do we want to talk about that?
My turtle was just as big as your fish.
No, it wasn't.
Where's the belt at?
It's right over there, safe and sound.
Yeah, I saw Woody pee on it earlier.
No, you didn't. Woody knows better. But we ran a double guide trip yesterday. So I took out a couple excellent anglers, and that executed and performed, top notch, best I could ask them to, and they helped defeat Ryan's boat with all
The first
everyone he had.
annual. He won the first one, and now
So
he
it was
thinks he
a
owns
3
the
versus
world.
3?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
undefeated. 1 for 1, bud. But I got this belt. So we took out a family, basically. I took the kids, you took the dads.
Yeah,
and
he went upstream, I went down.
I went and
Oh, you went to the better stretch.
He went to the better stretch, and I actually gave it to him because I figured he needed all the help he could get. Still whooped up on him.
We had a shot.
Yeah, I told you, a good guide executes on that stuff.
No, it was a good trip. It was a blast. We had fun. We caught some channel cat. We caught a nice leatherback. He was a beautiful specimen.
But if you're not first, you're last.
Yes, and I was
in a 2-person competition. It definitely works that way.
I was on the coattails for sure.
Yeah,
but it was a good time.
Yeah, it was fun, and I don't know. I like to win, so it was great.
So, speaking of winning, have you guys raced your boats?
Oh no, we haven't.
His top end is way faster than mine.
But you get on plane fast.
You got a 90 Merc? Or
well, it's a Honda. Yeah.
9065 and I had a 150 105. I just got a lot more metal in the water.
A lot of weight.
And it's a lot heavier boat. I think the boat alone weighs, with all the stuff, it's over 1,000 pounds, just the metal. And then you add all the other stuff in it.
I'd have to have a pretty windy stretch in order to beat you, I think. Because
I bet mine's more maneuverable with the tiller.
Next competition.
So, yeah, so you can
see who
can load up on
who can win the belt back.
But no, that'd be like back when I was in high school, me and my brother both bought motorcycles, and I had like this 750 76, Yamaha that was 3 times the size, and he had this little 600 crotch rocket. So I could barely see his taillight before my power band kicked in, and then I just blew by him at like 140. So I may get the jump start on you, but I'd hear you coming. Whoa.
What's yours top out at?
I don't know.
You got the GPS on your fish finder.
I do, but I don't know. I haven't been in a stretch to really top it out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Can you hit 40?
No. Mine cruises about 30, and if I'm by myself and have it trimmed up and it's completely flat, I can get her over 35. It's 105 horse on a 20-foot boat. That's not that much juice behind it.
So
I'd say mine's pretty comparable.
I bet it's I bet it's the same, if not a little faster. I wouldn't be surprised if your rig's a little faster.
I think I can probably go about 16. We were doing about 46. 43. Yeah. Now we're at 16 and 2 of us. But it's paid for. We can get out on the river. We have fun.
And the way the river's been, I mean, it's a perfect boat.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what, though, when my wife and I first bought that Sea Arc, we went to push when it's low. That ramp just drops off. So we put it in there and we went upriver, and there's rock bars.
Oh,
I'm jumping the rock bars. My wife is freaking out.
Oh, that would.
I broke it in right away. I mean, it was just. I was like, "Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing," and I had no idea.
I had zero idea.
I had zero idea.
Side note: we're lucky we survived.
Yeah, this boat should be, Alaska made, right? So I just full throttle and scraped the crap out of it.
You don't have to hit the bars. You can drive through the water.
I tried to go through the V, right?
Yeah,
and it was that low.
But I've ran that when it was flowing at like 300 and didn't touch nothing.
Well.
It is possible.
It was low.
Yeah.
Didn't you also get stuck?
That was bad.
On a sandbar?
That was learning curves.
Did you never?
See, that's my learning
Have you
curve.
ever planted yours?
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
See, that's the difference between a 105 and 185.
You power right through it?
Because I bet if I would have had a 185 on mine, we would have just powered through it.
Yeah.
But it was probably an inch deep.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
It was straight sand, right?
Straight sand. And I made it. I was on the exact same path that we went upriver on. Because I was following my line.
Oh, okay.
And I was right on it.
Within a few feet.
Yeah. You couldn't tell. Yeah, GPS,
you couldn't tell I was off at all. And going upriver with that little bit of current must have gave me a little more lift.
Yep.
And it was fine. Coming down, didn't have that lift and just
How'd you get off it? I don't remember.
Well, you weren't there.
Yeah.
So
I
wouldn't remember.
I think it was on your YouTube.
No.
Was it not?
No. The
the
bad one was never on the YouTube.
The bad one wasn't?
No.
It was bad.
The ones on YouTube. So the ones that made it on the YouTube videos, this is the first time or second time I ever driven a jet in my life. Third counting yours.
Right.
But the first one, I just picked the wrong chute. Like there was a sand island, and I picked the wrong. I was going to go to the right, should have went to the left, went to the right, and came to a screeching halt. But there was enough water and current that we didn't have too bad of a problem getting off.
And we had Sam Squatch. That didn't hurt either.
No.
The mountain of a man.
Yeah. The second one, I hit a stick, and it kicked because that clamshell underneath on those outboard jet lower units, it's always, when you turn the key, it's always in gear, or it's always in forward, and this clamshell rotates around it and diverts the flow to change it from forward, reverse, or neutral. So I had it in forward, and I hit a stick, and that flipped it to neutral. So if you're not giving it gas, you have no steering. And I needed to turn left when I hit that stick. And so I just kept going straight. Not entirely. I mean, I shouldn't have hit the stick.
Right.
Not entirely my fault. So that was just...
We did move the stick once we got the boat unstuck. The stick got moved.
I grabbed it and angrily threw it far. But the third one, which is the bad one, took like 2.5 hours to get unstuck. And I had a manual come along and some winch rope, which if I didn't have that, it'd still be sitting there.
Yeah.
But we moved it 4 inches at a time, probably 60 feet.
Yeah.
And it took
everything
stuck.
we had to move 4 inches at a time.
Yeah, it was a hell of a workout.
Because his rope had give in it, so it'd take half the rope to get the stretch out.
Yeah.
And then we'd move 4 inches.
At least half the rope.
Yeah.
Because you'd pull the wire off, or the cable off. Oh, my dog's going to pee. Skip, come here. Oh, hey, listen.
Pee on Daddy's lap.
Yeah, jump right up here on the lap.
I'll finish my story, then I'll introduce Skip. But, so you'd pull off the cable, and it would just take all that stretch out of that winch rope. And it's like 6 foot of cable, probably.
Yeah.
So you'd hit the last 4 inches and then finally be tight enough that it actually moved the boat.
You were close enough to a tree, or did you have like...
Yeah, there was a stump stuck in the water.
Out in the middle of the water. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, this is my new fishing buddy in the making. And
he looks like an Ewok.
He does. He's part Brussels Griffin, so he kind of looks like a Muppet. But his full name is Skipjack Herring. And Skip for short. All right, bud.
All right, go pee.
Go.
I'm going to go get some more beers.
Sounds good. Take a little.
Naturday, please.
Gotcha.
So are you going fishing this week yet, or this weekend?
Yeah, I've got a all-night trip Saturday.
Okay.
I was supposed to have a 6-hour trip Friday and an all-night Saturday, but my Friday, his daughter's in state softball or playoff softball.
Oh, nice.
So we had to cancel that. But, yep, so it's been busy.
So you been fishing local, or you been going to the Big River?
No, I've been coming here, which is like an hour and a half.
Okay.
Depending on
you're
which
up in
ramp.
Jefferson.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of in the middle of you guys. I think it was like 45 minutes to your place and 30 something, like 34 to here.
Yeah.
So.
Which I don't mind coming down here, but yeah, I went to last night, so that was an hour and 10 minutes.
How'd the ramp look?
Perfect.
Did it?
Absolutely.
Because I was telling Spencer, it was last Friday is when I cleaned it.
Yeah.
We had that little bit of that rain that came in, and it kind of came up and gradually went down. But the sand, I mean, I didn't clean it off at all.
Yeah. It looked good.
I went and looked at it yesterday.
I just assumed it would need cleaned.
Yeah, so do I.
Figured it would be clean, like it'd need clean, but it's kind of weird how it didn't need it that time.
Really weird, yeah. So back to fishing. You guys are gonna be
Eat
out.
that snow cone, bud.
Sorry, you're like far away.
No.
No.
All right, I'll eat the snow cone. So back to fishing. We're gonna get out. I think Saturday. We're gonna go.
Maybe you just have this soft sissy voice.
No,
I got a big, authoritative, manly voice. I feel
that you're taller than me, and I'm like looking up at you. So,
well, we're on the kids' bench.
So don't forget, like large and intimidating.
And he has a belt.
Been working out.
That's right. And the champ.
Yeah, the champ
#1
with the kids' belt.
But you're fishing this weekend.
Yeah, I think we're gonna go out.
Nice.
Jesse currently is
on a cruise, like down in Florida. So
What's with you? You're going to Puerto Rico. Well, yours is because of your wife's work trip.
right, I'm going.
But he's going on a cruise in the summer. Like, why are people going to tropical places when it's pretty tropical here?
And the flatheads are just starting to bite.
Because in October,
Allegedly.
and November we're deer hunting. So and in December,
What about January, February?
I like to just stay in my house and just wait for
Just
spring.
be a hermit for a couple months.
Yeah,
Wait for the mushrooms to pop.
right.
I'd like to go to Florida.
Have you guys been to Puerto Rico?
No.
Have you done any ocean fishing?
I've done ocean fishing, but never in Puerto Rico.
Okay. Gulf Shores? You ever went there?
Actually, is that where it was? Elle and I went on a class trip. That's when we first kind of met.
Okay.
And it was in southern Alabama. I don't remember if it was Gulf Shores or by Gulf Shores.
So I went there in October for my
good redfish.
sister-in-law's
I fished
wedding.
the Florida Panhandle bunch. I fished northern Texas, so like the opposite ends of Gulf Shores. Well, Louisiana, I guess. I haven't fished Louisiana.
So we went there in October for my sister-in-law's wedding, and now my brother-in-law.
Were you pissed because you?
No, because I killed a deer before we went.
Oh, you did get a
I
big
killed my
one
big
early.
one.
Yeah,
like
that's
October 7th.
You put the pressure on, you get it done.
It was pretty sweet. It was pretty sweet.
Ryan crumbles under pressure.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I execute, or we execute.
Right. So I went there, and there's this giant shark swimming around in the shallows. I don't even know what kind of shark it was. Went out and
How
bought.
giant are we talking?
I'm
about?
talking.
Like,
It was like the
as
size
big
of
as you.
It was sick. It was 5 foot.
Okay.
You're over 5 foot, but
Barely.
so it was a 5 foot shark, and it was up in the shallows. And I'm like, how do we catch these things? So we went to the local bait shop.
I got a story.
Got this pole, spin cast pole. We bought. There's like 4 of us that bought them. Went out there.
The shark was waiting for you.
I didn't buy.
I didn't brought some shrimp.
I didn't have a leader on first, and as soon as he bit, it just and snapped. So I didn't know what I was doing, and then I put a leader on, and this leader was like 10 foot. So I was like, how the heck am I supposed to cast this thing? So I bought the wrong leader. Just I'm a noob.
Yeah, I think they call them googans down there.
That's what noobs are?
Or
Googans?
people who visit a place and try to fish but don't really know what they're doing.
Is that what the kids say?
I think that's a cultural thing. Like that's what they refer to tourists trying to fish who can't fish.
Okay,
Are googans.
that's what I was.
Yeah. So So
Right.
you met the criteria.
Right.
Anyway, my story, which has got a happier ending. This might be illegal. I feel like I should be outside the statute of limitations. Isn't that like 7 years?
Depends on the crime.
Okay, because we're talking like 15, 20.
30,
Most of it's
30
like
years.
I should quit throwing numbers around. It was 30 years ago.
There I was when I was 8.
Little 3-year-old Spencer. Yeah, I don't screw it. Whatever. There was a shark that was rooting around in like a foot of water. He was probably like 5.5 foot long. And I was sitting in my truck talking to my buddy Chase, asking him when he's going to be here. I look out on the ocean and I see him. And I'm like, hold on. Hang up the phone, run out, grab it by the tail, flip it up on the beach, look at it for a minute, be like, I just grabbed a shark by the tail, flip him on the beach, drug him back out in the water, let him go.
I think that's pretty legal. I think you're good.
Pretty legal?
Legal, yeah. I don't think you did anything wrong.
I don't
You just
know.
wanted to see him.
I don't know. Is it
His tail attacked my hand.
Hand fishing is illegal here, but technically he was just.
I was hand fishing, I guess technically.
Yeah.
I think.
But is it legal?
I don't know.
If
Or
someone
you just-
would want to hand fish shark, I'd say go ahead.
you ain't gonna have a hand.
What's that? The Darwin Award?
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
I double dog dare you.
Yeah.
So I guess I wrestled a shark with
Wrestler.
my bare hands.
Like the mountain man
Interesting.
you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be a good mountain man, but put me on a river or the ocean, and I think I do pretty good.
You got odds.
Would you go down south and stick your hand in a hole like
I've done
Allie
it.
from Alabama or
I've done
Hannah,
it. I've hand fished before
and you got bit?
by catfish.
Well, clearly not a turtle. You got all your fingers.
Well,
Old Nubs, he loves
Does it scare you?
turtle bit my hand, and I grabbed his jaw and broke it.
You're really good.
They don't bite me no more.
The word is out.
No, I've done it down in Oklahoma and caught some flatheads, and blues will tear you up.
I bet.
You wear a glove. Have you done it?
I didn't wear a glove.
No, I haven't done it.
I didn't wear a glove.
I will not.
The thing that ended it for me is that I saw an alligator snapping turtle on the side of the road the next day, and it was like the size of a manhole cover. I'm thinking like those are in the water, man.
Yeah,
Those
right
and
where I was at.
The nope ropes, the snakes.
No, I don't mind snakes.
Well, they got cottonmouths down there.
They do.
They will mess you up.
I just don't grab them. Like, even if they're swimming at you, they're not going to attack you unless you like mess with them. And the only reason they would swim at you is because you're between them and where they want to go. So just step out of the way.
Right.
I've had it happen. I've been like wading in the Illinois River down in Oklahoma and had water moccasins swim feet from me. They didn't give a shit. Was I freaked out a little? Absolutely. But they didn't care. Just don't pet them.
That's kind of an important rule of life. Yeah.
I feel like we could all live by that. Don't pet the poisonous snake.
That might be the name of the podcast.
Yeah. Good as any.
So how did you get into the clearing of boat ramps? Is that part of your job?
That's part of my job.
Okay.
And so
He's kind of a specialist.
Yeah, I'm really good.
Heavy on the special.
I wake up in the morning and I clean boat ramps. Excellent.
Yeah.
No, it's part of the job. So I've worked for Dallas County for 10 years. Come November, it'll be 10 years. And with, as you know, the Raccoon River rising and falls fast, and we get a lot of guys like Spencer that complain. No,
Yeah, I do.
but it's good. We have probably.
If you could point me at the engineer who designed that ramp, just let me know. I'll slap the shit out of him.
One.
Yeah.
All the sediment without
Yeah.
not the downstream.
Yeah, it's
So-
the way it's set up. It's like it's gonna fill in every
time. But I do a good job at cleaning
You
it.
do.
So
You do. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
no problem. I like what I do, and we have probably closest to the metro, one of the nicest areas to recreate. Whether you're a paddler, you're going to chase flatheads.
Well, I have to drive
Or
an hour and
tubing.
15 minutes, and that's one of the only places I can get my boat wet. So
Yeah,
I
and it's-
appreciate it.
Yeah, there's guys from Okoboji, Ryan Kruger. He comes down a lot. He fishes the raccoon. There's guys like Drew that they stay up on the kind of the middle coon.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guys out there that do fish the raccoon, but as far as the boat
It's
ramps
fun.
go, we only have
Oh, we got
someone's here.
Somebody's here.
We only have
Oh,
3 ramps.
Somebody's running from your house.
They're stealing the skid loader.
It was straight in front of his truck. It was in a blue shirt.
Was it Ella?
No, it was a Asian guy.
It's my.
Weird. Anyway, keep going.
All right, so we have three boat ramps that we manage. We still going? Okay.
Yeah.
Dawson boat ramp, Pucker Brush. Actually, I take that back. We have 5. Redfield Dam, north side of the dam, south side of the dam. That gets a lot of paddlers and floaters.
I bet. Yeah.
Pucker Brush, Boonville, Dawson. So
Nice.
it's Van Meter's got a ramp. The city manages that. They just put concrete. The state's got a couple like Highway 44,
P58.
Snyder Pits. Yeah, the P58 one's the
Yeah.
state's. Yep, they blocked that off. But so we have a lot of outdoor recreation in Dallas County, which is close to the metro. So we get a bunch of those guys. A lot of
It's always busy.
some of the tubing in the summer is absolutely insane. Like there'll be 100 to 500 people, or maybe even more on any given weekend.
Yeah.
So we have
And the beer bottles floating downstream proves it.
It does, and it's people are getting better. So we've been putting out these river cleanup bags,
Which are awesome.
and they go. Sometimes they just throw them in there and leave them. They don't, which is better than them sinking them in the river.
Yeah.
But a lot of times they take them with them, or our weekend rangers pick them up, which I don't like to do that, but we do it because that's part of the job. So we keep the areas looking nice and mowed, weed whipped. We work with the conservation officer, Dustin. He does a good job at those sites, making his presence.
Yeah.
So and there's been a handful of times where I was, one instance I was out on the river on the weekend with my family. My son was like, I think 1 or 2 at the time. And my buddy Zach was out there in his little boat. Some guy was floating down and he was going to get hurt. So I called the officer and said, hey, I'm going to bring this guy. I'm going to go full throttle. I'm going to take him all the way to Boonville because he's going to kill himself. Like, this guy was floating on a log.
Oh,
You're going under. I'm like, jump in the boat. Jen, Jace, you stay here with Zach's buddy. And Zach jumped in my boat, and we just went, 45 down the river, weaving in and out. And I got to the sandbar, and there's an officer waiting.
Jesus.
And he ended up making it home safe, and that's the end goal, right?
Yes.
This guy
absolutely
totally
right.
would have like.
We're not
whatever.
looking for
Yes.
him, for a week.
Right.
Yep.
So that was kind of a scary moment.
That is.
It was
But
the
no.
Amazon, man.
Those of you that are from Iowa and haven't heard that you can get online at the Iowa DNR and they'll send you 2 trash bags or they're a netting
River
bag.
cleanup bags.
River cleanup bags
Yep.
that are pretty nice. I got some.
When we have these, like we put 5 to 10 out. That doesn't cover everybody, but it covers a lot of people. That one group can take one and throw all their cans, and it's supposed to take it home with them. But so on our accesses, we have these bags hanging there, and it says keep our rivers clean. So that's the end goal is not to pollute our rivers.
And how much harder it'd be for some people to see that bag and then still throw it on the ground.
Right. Right.
That's just
And
going out of your way to be an asshole.
There's there's bad apples out there for
There
sure.
is. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a good little river to have right next next door. So
Yeah, it's definitely worth the drive for me. It's a good time. Even if I only catch turtle and some channel cat.
what's the biggest?
If you want to book a trip with me,
Actually, we need to get out.
yeah,
We need to get out.
we'll get out next week. Got some time.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
Yeah.
So you're gonna take me out and show me how to catch one on a rod and reel?
It's weird. Here's an interesting thought process on all this, at least the way my mind works. Isn't it funny how you can have diddy pulls and catch them?
Oh yeah.
And suddenly you take just rods and reels and they're like nowhere.
Well, it's
you
a
fish
different-
the
yeah.
Right.
exact same places.
Right.
You get them on diddy pulls and you don't get them on rod and reel.
And I have no idea. We've tried, and we're not patient. That's why. I mean, we're deer hunters that just like to fish.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
If you give me a rod and reel and says go catch flathead, your life depends on it. Probably gonna die.
Not like in my house.
My odds are not good. But
It is different, and I think the big difference is you can just spread out more and you can catch those random cruisers.
right.
And a lot of spots that are good diddy pull spots, like you get a fish every other trip maybe on this pole because you get this random fish cruising through, whereas the best rod and reel spots, there's intersections of places and fish. You're just multiplying your odds,
Right.
and you have to in order to catch them consistently.
To
on
be
rod
there
and reel.
at the time that they're there.
Right.
Yeah. Instead of having a bait or 5 baits spread throughout all night.
It's not even being there at the time that they're there because the diddy pulls can be there in multiple places
Yeah.
the times
Yeah.
you're there. You're setting up in spots where you're having multiple travel areas where fish are moving through. Instead of just setting up 5 diddy pulls on 5 different lanes of travel, you need to set up in one spot where 5 lanes of travel intersect.
Yeah.
So you're multiplying your odds. I look at it like kind of like baseball.
Yep.
If you play the odds over the course of the season, at the end of the year, you should, in theory, have a better record. Where, sure, if you didn't play the odds and you get lucky, and you might have this period of time where it's like, wow, everything's working, and then you have this period of time where nothing is working. And oftentimes, that period of time is really long. If you play the odds, you'll have that consistent success over the long term. Now, figuring out where your highest odds spots are.
That's the thing.
That takes some time.
yeah.
But that's just like him figuring out where he's going to hang his tree stand.
Yep.
You know, it's kind of the same theory.
Exactly. And it's funny that you struggle with the flatheads, but you kill big deer because the concept's the same. It's just happening underwater instead of...
You have to use more imagination.
Right. And we
or a better
we
fish
struggle
finder.
with the rod and reels that, like, I mean, it's so far out in left field picking dandelions. We have no idea what we're doing. But when it comes to setting those spots, finding those back eddies, finding those spots, hey, I'm going to catch fish here.
You don't even have to find them. It's just, they're obvious.
They're
You're
there.
setting your diddy poles in
Right.
obvious shoreline current breaks.
Right.
Like, that's the standard.
Yep.
That doesn't play out
And
in rod and reel.
the biggest thing is a lot of guys, one, they don't use bullheads or they don't hook them right. And we learned through the years, you hook the bullheads on the diddy poles and you have rattle traps. Those fish are hunting, as you know.
What do you mean?
Not the rattle
trap
traps.
lures?
Not the rattle traps. Excuse me. The rattles. So we put 2 rattles on each. We use I think it's the 10-aught. Is it the Whisker Seeker triple threats?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I ever saw one of those, I'm like, the first thought that ran through my head was, these would be a good diddy pull.
Oh, they're awesome. We've only had a couple pulls be pulled out. We've never had a straightened hook. Or
The only way you would ever straighten one of them is if the line got wrapped around something solid, like a log.
Yeah,
And
rebar.
you had a really big fish. I
Right.
don't think a 30 could bend it out, even on a solid pull. He might tear off, but
Yep.
I don't think he'd bend it out. It'd take like a special hook or special fish hooked in a bad spot. You know, like, but if they're hooked in the corner, like most of them are,
Yep.
like even on a straight pull, that hook's still going to rotate.
Yeah.
If they're hooked in the bone, so that hook point is pushed up against that bone and not penetrated in very far, then they could bend them out. That'd be where you'd be unlucky on how it's hooked. But I mean, you tell me, are most of the fish hooked in the corner of the mouth?
They are, and we have those outliers. Like we had a.
I feel like this is like the Ditty Pole promotion podcast.
yeah. I mean that's literally all I know how to do. Like Ron Reel, like I'm good at crappie fish, and I love to crappie fish. That's how I grew up. But
Yeah.
Ditty pulling is kind of if we want to talk hunting, I'll talk hunting all day. But
I don't care. It's just funny how it
Yeah.
worked out.
Yeah,
I do want to
it's-
talk about some crappie fishing though.
yeah, so
But anyway, finish what you're talking
yeah,
about.
so the bullheads, the bigger the better. I mean,
What do you mean hooking them right?
right through the lip.
Oh, there is no wrong way to hook a bait.
We-
And I will say this: I
You
will
should
die,
know.
I
You
will
should
die
know.
on this hill that there is no wrong way to hook a bait as long as you have that hook point really exposed and you hook it where the hook point isn't going to rotate back into it.
All I'm saying is we've had a really good,
Well, you're not
run.
going to lose as many baits,
Right,
'cause
that's the
they're
thing.
really solidly
right.
hooked.
That's why we do it.
Yeah, but
And
they don't
the-
thrash around the same. Like if you hook them in the tail or even the back, they swim around more. So you could argue maybe that gets you more bites.
But on a diddy pole, they're on top of the water anyways.
You don't set
we
them
don't.
on
We,
top of
set,
the
we
water.
set them underneath the water
Really?
column.
Yeah,
Yep.
check yourself, Ryan. What do you know?
the way I do it. That's what I know.
That's how I.
Yeah, and I'm not
do it.
saying a professional at running diddy poles because there ain't no such thing. But we that's all we do.
The mud bums were kind of professional.
They were good
diddy
at it.
poles
Yep,
for a
they
while.
were good at
well,
it.
they're
They're
entertainers.
good at productions.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
They were fun to watch.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that show.
That's where I learned how to hook them through the top lip. We were out there one day.
You didn't know how to hook a fish.
No,
to
we
the lips before.
well we would hook them.
It makes it
behind
hard
the,
to catch
the,
fish.
The back
if you don't
dorsal
hook them in
fin.
the lips.
We hook our bullheads behind the dorsal fin. That
Yeah.
spot where
Yeah.
the green sunfish, and we get a lot of channel cats pulling them off. So now we just get a lot of bites on the end of the tail from the channel cats trying to eat the big bullheads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you must be setting your diddy poles in bad spots.
Yeah. Last time it was. No, dude, last time it looked superb. The water was probably the cleanest I've ever seen it, and was
It
warm.
was weird how clear
Not
the
a
water
single
has
bite.
been this year.
Yeah.
Usually, so we've had a little bit of water. I guess the difference is most of the water that we've been getting is from way up north. So you have this
It's got time to filter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not getting the runoff down here like you normally would when you have higher water levels.
Yeah.
But if you're
Hopefully they keep getting pounded up there.
Yeah,
'cause that's awesome.
I agree. So what's up with the spawn? Let's talk about that real quick. Are we post spawn? Or are we still in spawn? Or
we
what's
haven't spawned yet.
no? Is it 70 to 80 that the flatheads usually spawn?
Dude, it could be
Not to
80
90.
degree water today and 58 degree water in a week. Like our water temperatures fluctuate so much. I don't think that factors in all that. I mean, I think it's a major factor, but it's not the only one. I think day length plays a part. So yeah,
so
they haven't spawned yet.
When the spawn is on, I mean, they're going shallow, right? Like that's when the guys that catch them in feeder creeks and stuff, they start hammering them. I mean, is that right? Or they
spawn when they're spawning? Usually things slow down a little bit,
right?
Yeah.
But there's definitely they don't all spawn at the same time. There is a point when they are spawning, depending on water level and water temps, that you have a higher number of the population spawning, and there's fishing really slows. But that's usually just like it seems most of the time it's like a week and a half, rarely 2 weeks.
And that's when we go blue cat fishing.
Try to.
So historically, when would you say the spawn is completely over and the bite's back on type of thing?
Completely over?
Right.
Like every fish that is going to spawn has spawned.
July?
Probably not till
No.
the end of July.
Yeah.
End of the July?
I was going to say close to August, they start kind of ramping back up.
Yeah. I mean, there's years where it's really hot and dry and they'll spawn earlier, like maybe mid-June. But channel cats spawn before flatheads, and I've caught channel cats out of rocks that were spawning like middle of July.
Yeah.
It drags. Like there's so many fish that spawn early, late, all in between. But there's definitely a time where more fish are on beds than not.
And I think water flow, I guess. If it's heavy current.
Well, you got to think too.
They're gonna be pushed out
when
of
the
the way.
water shoots up. It also drops in temperature too.
Yeah.
Because you get a big spring or a big rain event, and usually it brings colder weather, and river shoots up and drops 5-10 degrees lots of times.
And your smaller rivers warm up faster. So
yeah, some fish spawn in the small creeks, some spawn in the main river, some spawn in reservoirs. That's a evolutionary advantage of catfish. Well, just a lot of species. Not everyone does the same thing. So
Yeah. If one get wiped out, then you still have the part of the species that's going to bring it on home.
right, and the drought we've had, and a lot of them fish that spawn up those little creeks, they either got trapped there and died,
or they've been there for 3 years.
right, right,
They haven't had a choice.
and they're not doing great.
No.
But the fish in the larger rivers, they're probably not doing as good as they could be with the drought, but they're doing better than the ones that were in the creeks.
Yeah. Or even some of our smaller areas. I think it hits them pretty hard.
yeah, a lot of guys think when we have these summers without a lot of rain that those flatheads sit in those holes and all they do is eat, which I mean kind of makes sense.
I think they do. But you also have, there's more stress.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the other
more
problem,
competition.
Well, and then the other problem is when you got that low water, it's the high water that scours the holes out. But when things are low and they stay low, like the sand just gradually fills everything.
It's like quicksand.
Well,
Underwater.
and the river slowly becomes like very similar levels. You don't have as much habitat diversity from depth, and that stresses fish out when they have fewer places to stay, and then you start having more fish pile on top of more fish because there's limited habitat available, and it just stresses out the population as a whole, where a lot of them fish will be fine, but if we had water, more of those fish would be fine. And it's just...
Yeah, and they'd be found in completely different locations.
Right. Yeah, and it's just a bummer. But what can you do?
Yeah.
You could drive somewhere else, and that's what I've been doing. It just sucks that the water's close to home are being stressed out in that way. And flatheads are never easy, but this stuff makes it more difficult.
Right.
It's been a tough spring.
I think.
For
And
sure.
you can point your fingers at a lot of things, but I think that it's definitely a contributing factor to difficult fishing this year is the lack of water we've had in years past.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's Facebook and YouTube. Maybe that's the...
Yeah, those
Damn
dumb
YouTubers.
I mean, I think that has affected fishing to a large degree. There aren't as many secrets as there used to be.
No, not at all.
And I could point the finger at myself to some
I
level.
do. I'm not. It's that certified asshole.
Yeah. But I mean, sure, I've contributed, and so have millions of other people. It's just
Well, you like to share your knowledge.
But
that's the shifty nature of fishing, though.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing is, we just all need to unite when it comes to fishing. We have people that have cut our lines, pulled our poles out.
I know that.
Did you
guy.
eat the fish? No. When
You
it's
didn't
just
catch none.
Yeah, I just followed you, like one bend behind you.
yeah. But yeah, we just need to. I mean, we're outdoorsmen. We just need to have each other's backs. And
I don't know. I go back and forth on that too, because if some dude's a piece of shit poaching, but he's an outdoorsman. Are you got his back?
but if he's doing it legally,
but he's an
if
outdoorsman.
he's using
We need to unite.
if he's using a crossbow, that's what I'm getting at. If he's using a crossbow or he's using a 350 Legend during gun season. Like,
so you say
it's
ethics don't matter then?
No, ethics. It's legalities. Like if I'm running a diddy pole and you're running a rod and reel, it's not, I'm doing it for fun. You're doing it. You're out there, if you're doing competitions or whatever. Like the diddy pole community is looked down on, and that's really where.
What if you were fishing, and I drive my boat back and forth upriver for 3 hours straight while you're on anchor?
Well, that's where your ethics come in. Why would you do that?
Well, you're checking your lines.
But you discounted.
I don't do that though.
You just discounted ethics. You said legally is what matters.
Oh no, ethics matter too.
But that's my point. Like that's where shit gets gray, because your ethics are different than Ryan's, are different from mine.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's some common threads, I'm sure, but like ethics do matter
for sure.
Or what if you showed me this really good fishing spot and then I bring 12 people down?
That's happened.
Yeah.
It's happened a lot.
It's not illegal.
No, it's not
I ain't
illegal.
breaking the law.
Yeah, but
just being an asshole.
right.
Like one of the worst types of assholes.
Right.
We've had our stuff messed with so much. It's like we're just out here doing it for fun, and we don't go check our baits all the time. And I'm sure there's guys are. We used to do that, but there was no other guys out there rod and reel fishing besides you. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, who cares about
yeah.
I
slow down.
But that was just kind of my point. That's what muddies the water, is the difference in what's right and what's wrong.
Right, yeah.
And a lot of people, it just goes back to what they're doing is right and what everybody else is doing is wrong. Mm-hmm. There is no gray area for them. It's black and white.
Well,
this is the way I see it.
That's just lack of empathy.
Yeah.
And consideration that other people might feel differently.
But you still don't go and cut someone's line or steal their stuff.
Not if it's legal. No.
I don't.
If it's tagged, they checked it.
I'll go cut a diddy pole that ain't tagged.
Right. Or it's been up there for multiple days.
That's the ones that I have. Like you see it, like the one with the pelican.
Right.
I cut those.
Yep.
I guess that's.
I take a picture and send it to the officer. So.
I didn't do that. I should have.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a name on it anyway. So there was also that aspect.
Right. And that's just like guys, if you go back to like deer hunting, that leave up their stand and it's killing the oak tree, because it's choking it out with their ratchet strap. Mm-hmm. So there's some, I don't know.
But if
there's right ways to do it. Just
if it
do it the right way.
If it isn't tagged, it's technically litter at that point in time.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just litter that'll kill a fish.
So let me ask you this. There's a canoe down where we usually go, up on a kind of a log jam. Okay. What would you do with that?
A canoe?
A canoe. Like a grumman.
Is it registered?
Well, last year it was. So someone's lost it. I sent a picture to
got registration
the officer.
Stickers on?
Yep. We took a picture, sent it to the officer. But is it litter?
I would say yes.
There's not really a lost and found.
I mean, my gut reaction is it's just trash on the water. It's just more expensive trash. Like,
right. They need to come get it.
What's the difference between the canoe and a beer can? How much it costs?
A lot more aluminum.
Yeah. Just the price. That's literally the only difference. So people have stronger feelings about it because it's more valuable.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
if you turn that in, I'm surprised they weren't contacted.
You should.
And they might have been. I sent it to Dustin.
The more I think about it, like if that's litter with your personal information on it, like
that's
like
throwing out your mail.
You should get a ticket for leaving
you
it
should.
there.
Yeah. You should. You need to go get it.
So yeah.
I wonder if it was the case where somebody stole it and then just kind of dumped it when they were done with it,
or had one too many, and if they fell out,
got away from them. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's always, like, now we're getting into gray area.
Yeah.
But my gut reaction is, yeah, that's just really expensive litter. So get it out of the river.
Yep.
A bad scenario caused it.
Right. Maybe.
I would guess.
Probably. Like you would like to think so.
Yes. Not like, you're free. And just pushed it down the river.
Go be one with the river.
But there's some stretches of the river I fish, and there's several boats on it.
Yeah.
Why are those boats in there? They're not bad scenarios. They're people wanted a trailer, so they bought a boat. And I'm not saying this is every scenario, but or maybe it is. I don't know. But some of them, how can I word this with not being a prick?
Good luck. I'm not sure that's in your realm, buddy.
I could see where somebody might want a boat trailer and they see a boat for sale cheap on a trailer. They don't want the boat, they just want the trailer. So then they buy it, they take the boat down to the river, shove the boat into said river, and drive away with the trailer instead of paying to dispose of
Never thought of that.
You could have took it to the scrapyard and made money off of it.
Yeah, or had to pay.
What if it's a fiberglass boat?
You'd have to pay per pound.
And that's the most of them I see are
Fiberglass burns.
So do tires.
It's on fire.
But it's illegal.
Is that any better?
Well,
I don't know.
in the river, it's habitat, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like dropping Christmas trees.
Right. But there's 3 or 4 boats on a particular stretch of river shoved up in log jams, and I'm betting that's how
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are creepy though too. Like you just get a weird vibe.
There was
when you go
one
through
just
'em.
floating around last summer.
For a whole summer.
Well, for a couple weeks I'd see it here, and then I'd come back a few days later, and then it'd be here, and then back a few days later it'd be somewhere else.
just making its way around.
It just slowly progressing downriver. And
That's awesome.
Where it's at now, who knows? I haven't seen it.
Frozen sunk, probably. Let's dive into your channel a little more. Like, I know you talked about how you've been at it for a couple years, but how often do you put out like your hunting videos, or when do you switch to a fishing video?
We really kind of this past year we really started producing with Jesse's job. He can he produces all the videos on YouTube, and we have, like I said, 40 to 50 guys and gals. So
they just send you video, and
they'll transfer us stuff, and Jesse will edit it, and some stuff, some people tell stories better than others.
If I was a member of Outdoor X Media, what does that get me?
Well, you get discount codes. You get to be a part of our family. You get to buy some sweet swag.
Do you have a family reunion?
It's running Ditty poles.
Yeah, just 2 of us. Actually, Corey, one of our new guys, just texted me. He's like, "Hey, can I bring my DSLR out on your boat?" I'm like, "Sorry, dude, you weigh more than 100 pounds. You can't." So I'll text him that later. But so Jesse and I, we work part-time for GSM. So I got to go home and do my work because I already have my full-time job. Now I got to do my part-time job. So we run social media accounts for, I think it's like 19 to 20 brands.
Nice.
So that's another part-time gig. So we run Muddy, Stealth Cam. Our trail cameras are a big thing. So it's fun. I mean, it's another job, and it keeps us busy.
Yeah.
So we're very active with that kind of social media thing, but then also the YouTube. We just got done doing turkey hunts, which those kind of stunk compared to our one catfish video we did as far as views go.
Yeah. So
it's fun. It's always something I'd really like to have a outdoor related vlog, and kind of like if you see Blue Gabe or Spencer's as far as fishing goes, try to translate that into hunting, which I'm so busy right now. I just bought a farm and I'm trying to manage that, get it ready for deer hunting. So that's another job. So I'm super busy. Like before I came over here, I went and got 7 telephone poles from the neighbor. He's like, "Yeah, you can come get these poles. There's like 20 there." So it's after work, I'm working, and then I'm working again, and then I'm a busy dude. And then I have a 5-year-old that all he likes to do is watch this guy on YouTube and he likes to fish. I came home from work one day. He's like, Dad, you see this gar that this guy had by? It was your friend that you talked to. And he's a 5-year-old, right?
Yeah.
And so he's all excited like this. It came up and he got freaked out by it and he didn't know what to do with it. And I think he let it go. And let's watch this video. So Jen had to type in river certified gar, and it popped up. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Spencer, yeah. And I mean that thing was big. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so a 5-year-old that likes to fish. All he wants to do is fish and
Awesome.
collect worms. And
Well, that ain't bad.
right. So, hey puppy.
He actually earns his keep a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm telling you, dude, when it rains, he is out there the next day. Like, I try to give him some rubber gloves so his hands just don't stink of night crawlers, but he rips them off and they'll
You
just...
can't feel them. You got to feel
Oh,
them.
you do. And the rubber gloves are a little bit too big. You want a naturday?
You're too young for those right now.
So, yeah, I stay busy. But, yeah, we'll definitely... We're going to start a podcast probably sooner than later, so we'll have both you guys on. But
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But we should definitely get out, maybe go fishing for crappies or something. White bass.
Where'd you grow up?
Grinnell.
So where were you crappie from?
I grew up, so my grandpa, he had 2 like fly rods, right?
Yeah.
And he'd tip them with a big, I don't even know what size jig head and minnows. And he'd go up to structure and just absolutely pound the fish and drop it
Just
straight
vertical
down
jigging?
and just,
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as you drop it down, he just troll right in there and he got so good at it. And
Well, now they make like 10 to 14 foot crappie rods
with a spin cast.
that are made to do the exact same
Yeah.
thing that your grandpa's
On the
been
spider
doing
rigs
forever.
or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Yeah.
And he
he's-
just didn't have those available, so he got fly rods.
Yep.
He made
That's
himself.
That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yep. Yep. So like my grandpa, and we caught
Catching
quite a
big
few.
dogs.
Like he's got an 8-pound bass on the wall. They got mounted.
Did
He's
you
got
catch it
2
crappie fishing or
No. He's got 2 crappies that are bigger, like that make this bass look tiny. That are mounted. They're 17.5 inches, both of them.
That's big crappie.
That's a big
they're-
crappie.
So
The only 17-inch crappie I've ever caught, I caught when I was fishing for catfish bait. And I didn't. I thought about using it.
that'd been a good video.
That day was nuts because I never caught a crappie over. The biggest one I ever caught at that point was 15 inches. And that day on a worm and bobber, I caught 3 16s and a 17.
Holy!
Crap.
And I used one of the 16s.
Did you catch any fish on it?
I didn't.
No.
But I filleted it out at the end of the night.
Oh, nice. Nice.
I reeled it in, and I'm like, "You're not going to waste." I have caught like a 30-pounder on a 15-inch crappie.
So how often do you use crappie?
Every chance I
Really?
yeah, they're
Yeah.
pretty solid.
Better than green sunfish?
No,
No.
comparable.
Better than bluegill?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bluegill are. They seem like they die so fast.
Everybody likes to eat crappies.
Yeah.
Flatheads aren't dummies. You know, they
True.
don't taste good.
Yeah.
I think they kill bullheads. My theory is that they don't prefer a bullhead, but a bullhead just kicks so much that it pulls them in.
And it's more of a defense mechanism, especially around spawn, because I'm sure bullheads would just ravage a nest where some of the other animals.
Is that why the
wouldn't be
flatheads
as
just?
bad.
Maybe. I mean,
Because
I
they
feel
hit
like-
them with a vengeance.
Oh, they just gulp
I feel
'em up.
like that's.
Yep.
I feel like you're personifying this fish.
I am.
you
I
know?
am. But that makes sense to me
but-
because
But
there's
correlation doesn't
pretty
always
rough.
mean causation.
It does.
Have you caught a channel or a flathead on a channel cat before? Can you even use a channel cat?
You can legally use
Yeah.
channel
if you
cats
catch with
on a rod
and
reel.
reel.
Yeah. I have not. My buddy Jake Rice, he doesn't even live in Iowa anymore. He lives down in Texas. He just texted me probably a few weeks ago. He caught like a 6-foot black tip out of his kayak down there.
that's
Oh, hell
crazy.
yeah.
But he would do these long river floats, and they'd run out of bait, so he would catch channel cats because they're small ones are pretty easy to catch on small crawlers and stuff. And he caught several flatheads on channel cats.
I could see it.
It's,
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure it'd work. I've used them a few times, but kind of like drum, I've
Gasper goo.
Sorry, correct. Gasper I haven't caught very many flatheads on Gasper goo, but I haven't used them that much.
Yeah.
But that other day where I told you I hooked those two like within seconds of each other, one of them was on a small drum.
Oh,
Yeah.
But I just used it because that's all I could catch.
okay.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just that. Luckily, right now I'm sitting on 50 green sunfish and some jumbo bullhead. But
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm sitting all right in the bait front, partially because you added another 8 or so.
Yeah.
To the bait tank.
Did you go to that spot that I told you about?
Yeah, it's fished out.
Is it really?
Out. Yeah. The last time I was there, which was a couple weeks ago, there were 6 people fishing for bait there.
Wow.
6 coolers. 6 people with coolers. Tossing.
That's a lot different than just 6 people fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tossing all that
Wow.
stuff. I mean, I get it. I was there
Yeah.
doing the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I was just kind of caught off guard by that a little bit.
So, question for both you guys: what's your favorite freshwater fish to eat?
I'll wait for
Probably crappie.
flip a coin for me, crappie or walleyes.
Perch is pretty good too.
I would say walleye.
Yeah. My list probably
Bluegill's pretty damn good.
probably a tie for first with crappie and walleye, perch, bluegill, northern, and then you got the flatheads, blues, channel cat.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that because I like northern pike quite a bit.
Yeah.
Nobody,
You get a lot of meat out of one.
but they're good.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because they smell like shit. Like
And they're slimy like a blue cat.
You wouldn't think that'd be a good tasting fish just aesthetically in dealing with it, but man, they're good.
Well, frog legs are the same thing. You look at a bullfrog and you're like, I ain't eating that.
I
It
don't
smells
think-
like
I
ass.
don't think a bullfrog is
Well, they're in
like
the-
repulsive,
They're in the murky of the muckiest muck.
except when they're not. You know, there's like some, you can catch bullfrogs in like really nice areas.
I suppose. I
Yeah.
just don't. When I go
You just go to
gigging
these
bullfrogs,
nasty
yeah.
ass places.
My thing with bullfrogs is like you go out there and gig and you put all this time and effort, and then like you get so little meat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a lot.
Yeah.
I just do it because my girls love it.
Oh,
we go
well,
out once a
that's
year,
good.
and we go out once a year, and it's I got 2 11-year-olds, and then one now is 16, and then my girlfriend, and they just love it.
Do you
It's a blast.
gig them?
We usually spotlight them and then let the girls net
Net
them,
'em. Okay.
or the older one grabs them. Like she's pretty quick reflexes, but it's if you got a bright enough light, you could just walk up to them and grab them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the last time I went and like tried catching bullfrogs was behind a horse barn that had this pit. Like that's where the poop goes.
Yeah.
And I was in there trying to catch bullfrogs, and then I got like my Rapala, or I think it was one of the chatterbaits stuck on top.
He came over
And a
and
horse got in there. And this thing was stuck on its back, and they had to like lift the horse out. So they had my
Wait, time out.
like an actual
So-
horse.
Oh, so you snagged
lost
I
and
your
blew
little-
lost it,
okay.
snagged it, and I got
I'm
got
like
it back.
Thinking you snagged a horse. that was
In a
in
sh-
the
no,
water.
in a
the
shit
horse
pond.
ended up. Yeah, I broke
Like,
it
how
off.
do you accidentally snag a horse?
I didn't see him there.
I had no idea.
All right,
So that was the last time I was, trying to catch frogs.
I have a Ditty pull frog story. How perfect is this?
Perfect. Let's hear it.
You talked about how hard it is to get enough bait. We were struggling catching bait when we were going to run Ditty pulls. This was back in college, and there was a bullfrog, and you know how you just jiggle a crawler in front of him on instantly. So I caught him. I'm like, throw him in there, threw him in there, and we baited a line with the bullfrog and set him at before sunset. I think we only ran him one time. Well, we went set him before sunset, ran him at midnight, checked him. He was still just chilling there. Then came back at I think 3:30 in the morning, and that hook was straightened out.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't like
Wasn't a triple threat.
No, it was not. A it was a.
That was pre-triple threat.
Pre-triple-
days.
It was
Yeah.
that hook was not. That was probably 10 years before the triple
Yeah.
threat was ever introduced.
Probably your old eagle claw.
It was a Gamakatsu octopus circle, 8/0. Yeah. And we hooked it
You got a
right
good
through the
memory.
nose.
Is that what's the weirdest thing you've caught a flathead on?
No, I can't think of anything crazy. Caught that one on a strip of cut bait yesterday.
But that's kind of normal.
No, usually I get them on head chunks if I
Yeah.
get them on cut bait. Don't get them on body chunks that often, but he ate it.
So we caught it was probably like a 7 or 8 pound flathead on a dead a dead sunfish with a piece of goose stick on it. So we tell people that we caught a flathead on a goose stick, like a deer stick, but it was a goose stick.
I wonder if the sunfish wouldn't have been there, you think he would have ate it?
I don't know.
I'm pretty skeptical. One thing that I found interesting when I went down south this spring, try to get on those early flatheads, I don't know if they were so tuned up or if there were so many and they were competitive or what, but I had some nasty ass bluegill that had been chewed up, gnawed on, sun dried, and I dropped them down and they got gobbled up by flatheads just like everything else did. You know,
the
and
old
I'm up
jerky
here,
bait.
Yeah, and I'm up here like you got to have fresh bait.
Yeah.
You know, blah blah blah. And I wonder if you could have dropped a goose stick down there and caught one. Like it was pretty cool.
That's a good scenario to
will
be in.
likely be back at some point in time.
That's awesome.
Let's take a little beer break.
Sounds good.
Because I'm dry and thirsty. I know what I wanted to ask you. After your beat down, are you ready to get into some competitive fishing?
Yeah. I've competed my whole life. I don't care what it is.
Okay.
What are we competing at?
I mean, I'm talking catfishing tournament.
No.
That was my weak ass segue. I had somebody email me and they're like, "Talk about your tournament."
Yeah.
They didn't say it like that. I don't know why I said it like that.
I mean, you can make whatever voice you want.
Yeah.
It's an email.
I apologize to whoever that was.
I read my
I'm
girlfriend's.
Sure you don't actually sound like.
I read my girlfriend's text messages in that same voice.
That's not helping the situation.
Is this the only tournament you've been in? The one that you caught fish when you were bumping?
You've been in a couple now, haven't you?
I fished
2 this year.
2.
Well, in this season.
I fished 3 this year. Fished a kayak tournament. Fished a boat tournament before that. And then I fished a boat tournament out of my kayak before that. And actually, my highest placing ever in a boat tournament was when I was fishing in a kayak.
In a boat tournament.
Prior to this last tournament.
And
I got 11th out of 30-some boats.
So,
and my favorite about that whole story is when you had that carp on and you thought you had the kicker. You were going to win the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah.
So, in these boat tournaments, I've only done one, and I'll tell you that story. But does it start out like they shoot a gun and everybody just takes off like a bat out of hell?
Depends on the tournament. The last 2 I fished, the guy was just overwhelmed, where the boat ramp in the lot could accommodate 30 boats pretty well. In most of the guys' tournaments that he ran, he'd get 20 to 30 boats. And then this one, and it just happened to be the first one of this tournament series that I went to, they had like 50 boats.
Okay.
Oh.
And it's a single lane ramp. So people started at like 5 in the morning putting boats in the water. And tournament starts at 7 or 7:30.
And half the field's not even in yet.
Yeah. So he just sent people to get them going.
Oh,
that pissed some people off.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't get mad. I mean, granted, you have.
I mean, you knew what time it started.
Right.
Well, you got a little money on the line, but I try to look at the big picture where this guy is doing this and providing you this opportunity to have fun, and he's just doing the best he can.
Yeah.
You know. And,
Yeah.
but the next tournament after that, it was get your boat in the water, and you can go wherever you want.
But you can't cast in
till tournament hour starts.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But some of them, like the Twisted Cats one's a larger national event. I think they do waves.
So they send them out and
So you go
10
like 20
boats,
at a
20
time or
boats.
10 at a time. And that what number you are is determined by when you register.
Yep.
So if you're the first boat to register, you're the first boat to
That's like the Sieck Invitational.
Yep,
Which
same deal.
Are you doing that this year?
Maybe.
Okay.
Depends on.
Isn't it already over? I think it was a couple weeks ago.
Was
The
it?
Sieck invite was in April.
Or April.
So the next one will be
So you're doing
I
next.
might fish it. I'd like to. I would have fished this one, but I had to go to a wedding. So,
Damn weddings.
yeah.
Weddings
So,
and funerals.
The one time, and I did a rod and reel tournament, like catfishing.
Yeah.
I did one. I didn't catch a single fish, but so we were at Marina, and there's probably 20 boats.
Yeah.
I'm in my buddy's
That's a tough stretch of river, bud.
It is. So my buddy Brad's got this jet boat. Is the reason why I end up buying 3 jet boats now. I've had 3. He's got this 20-foot
Timeout. So you've had the Predator, you
Predator,
have the one you have now,
and then I had a Tracker Pro 120. It was like, I think it was 17-foot, and that engine sucked. It was horrible. So
it's an outboard jet.
inboard jet 120s.
A Tracker?
Yep. 120 Sport Jet XR or something.
I've never heard, like, when I think of Tracker, I'm like Bass Pro.
Yeah. It was a bass boat, but it had an inboard jet.
Is this custom?
120 XR, no.
They sold
I'm
them.
pretty sure it was 120 Sport Jet XR is what coming up. Anyway, so
back to your
we're in this tournament. There's Brad's got a jet, and so does this other kid that's come down from Minnesota. So he's right away. They shoot the gun, and they both take off in the shallow. And all these other boats over here running the channel. We didn't know at the time, but the waves got so bad that it was a Tracker. It was like a red Tracker. I remember it. Hit the dock and smoked it because of all the boat, the wakes.
Oh, Jesus.
But we ended up catching, Brad and I didn't catch a single fish. We brought my buddy in from down by Knoxville.
The ringer.
He caught, we would have placed. We would have been top 5 if we would have kept one of the smaller cats we let go. But he had these spin
Why would
casts.
you let them go?
It was small, but
So they weigh.
they go by weight. Yeah. He caught I want to say he caught 3 to 5 fish, and it was it was really hot out. No one caught crap.
It's tough stretch.
And we were right underneath the bridge.
So I ran guide trips on that stretch for a long time.
We were
Well, you
underneath.
had to there for a while.
Yeah, we were underneath the bridge fishing is where he caught those fish. And he just showed up and he was the ringer. So yeah. So I have competed in one fishing tournament.
So I guess I've competed in 7, I think.
7.
Yeah. First top 10 finish was the last one.
Yeah.
So you're getting better.
I mean, after the one in March, you can't get much worse. That we weighed in 7 pounds.
Oh.
I wasn't too totally excited about that one because I pre-fished that one the week before, and I caught some fish, but man, I worked for them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I had a day because you could weigh in. You're bringing a 5-fish limit, and I don't have it. The 3 days I fished prior, I didn't have a single day where I caught 5. And I'm like, uh-oh. I caught a few decent ones.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, if I can get lucky and catch 3 of these, I don't know if we'd place, but I think we would
At least be respectable.
be respectable. Yeah. And then we didn't even pull that off. But the funny thing is, tournament day on that one, we had a 7-pounder in the boat in like 5 minutes. Then we fished 7 hours and 55 minutes without putting a single one more. But I felt good because the team that won it, we were hopscotching spots. And they pulled up they were where we wanted to go. So then we went to the next place we wanted to go. And then they tried, they came around the bend and they were going to fish where we were at. Then they saw us and went to the next place. We were on the same pattern, but they caught the fish and we did.
Yeah.
So
they just happened to hit the right one.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's some nuance that I'm overlooking. I know if you ask them, I'm sure they would tell you that. But at the end of the day, they won and we didn't. They caught a 73.
Oh, wow.
100 yards from us. We heard them hooting and hollering. Son of a bitch. Because we were they went into a spot that we didn't figure anybody would go into. And we were sitting here fishing, piecing this piece of structure apart, waiting to go into this next one. So nobody will fish it. And then they went in there and caught a 73. I'm like, no, son of a bitch. Just funny how it works out. 'Cause
It is.
we went in there the day before just on a whim and put one in the boat in 5 minutes. So we're like, well, if this dirty, sleazy blue cat's in here, there's got to be some more. Never got. I mean, we probably should have still went in there even after they caught that fish because I'm sure there was more, but
Yeah.
we didn't, and we sucked.
You had 7 pounds.
But the last one, we sucked most of the day. In the last 20 minutes, caught a 65.
That doesn't
That was a
hurt.
big fish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
it
was
doesn't
cool.
hurt.
But you could say the what ifs, but who knows? Maybe we would have bumped longer because we stayed on anchor and then switched to bumping as a Hail Mary, and it worked.
Yeah.
Maybe if we would have switched earlier, maybe it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. Yep.
You could have fished for an hour and an extra hour and caught no more fish.
Yes. exactly right.
And the difference between where we were at and the money, there's still pretty wide margin. I think so we weighed 65 or 64.6 or whatever. Yeah, 64.6.
That was a blue cat, right?
Yep. And I think the money, to get in the money, you had to be top 4 because they paid out to the top 10%. And we were still 60 pounds, 70 pounds behind them.
Yeah.
We would have had to put
Another
something
good,
big, yeah.
Another
Yeah.
stud in.
So
it's
what,
just so funny because that river or that particular body of water, over half the field didn't weigh a fish.
Yeah.
Because we went from 0 fish, caught one good one, and suddenly we're in 8th place.
Wow.
But the team that won weighed in at 108.
Yeah,
just
that's
one?
crazy.
One fish?
Yeah, one fish was 108 pounds.
They
Yeah.
weighed in 244 total.
Oh.
Yeah, they like broke the series record or
Yeah,
something,
that was the
didn't they?
most anybody had weighed in that series.
Wow.
But yeah, they brought in a 108 and then like a 50. And
So would you rather catch, I mean, that has nothing to do with the tournament. Would you rather
I'd
catch
rather catch the flathead.
flathead all day? I've never caught a blue.
They're fun when the flathead aren't biting.
They're fun. I enjoy the process of flathead fishing more.
Yep.
But they also, I think some of it's because flatheads are like seasonal.
Yeah,
And
you don't give you a chance to get old because they kind of fire up and then they kind of die down and then they
Right.
kind of fire up and then they're done.
right.
Have you caught a blue cat in one of the lakes that they stocked, the DNR stocked them in yet?
I haven't
In Iowa?
tried. A buddy of mine, Rob, he's been on this podcast. He caught a blue cat ice fishing
Nice.
in one of them.
Wow.
Nice.
He had a live scope down there, and he said a school of like 150 of them moved through, and he caught one.
They're growing fast, too, because I remember
Blue cats grow fast.
my buddy Joey
Yeah.
down there, who I worked with him at a different job. I think he's the park ranger now. He might have switched since then, but they stocked them, and like the first year, they just
Like 10 pounds.
exponentially grew.
Wow,
You get 5
So.
to 10 pounders in a year.
that's cool.
So I wonder what they are right now.
I'm sure there's some that stayed small and some
Some
that are
that got
taken
big,
off,
yeah.
and some in the middle.
Yep.
Tends to be how those things work. But yeah, I should get down there. It's just I could go down there and fish them, or I could drive another hour and have a shot at 100.
yeah,
I take the hour.
Yeah, Nah, I have.
and he does. Yeah,
So you find yourself going longer trips now. You're going out to Iowa. Both of you guys?
when I can. Yeah, when I can. I got my daughter every other weekend, so that kind of puts cuts my fishing time
Right.
in half, pretty much.
How old is she?
She's 11.
She like to fish?
She does for about 15 minutes at a time.
You want to take my
Yep.
son?
Yeah. When we do, we usually hit a state park that has like a playground.
Okay.
So she'll fish
yeah,
for
yeah,
15
yeah.
minutes.
Yep.
We'll go play for half hour. Then we'll go fish for 15 minutes and go play. So it works. I usually fill a bait cooler when I'm there. So it works pretty well.
It'd be crazy not to.
Yeah.
So I'm at the point where I'm trying to get my son to. He's got a little like Spider-Man pole, got a blue pole. Trying to get him to push the
I mean,
button.
he uses your Spider-Man pole.
Yes. Hey, that pole has caught some big fish.
I'm
but
sure.
Yeah.
I'm
they do.
trying to teach him to push the button to cast correctly.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to do the spin casting yet. But as soon as he casts, he hits the button. So half the time, the frickin', you got to be careful where that.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
That's
I
right.
know.
Like,
I'm just,
it
but
takes
he's
some
good at
time.
everything else, like baseball
Nobody's perfect.
and golf.
I bet he practices baseball more than he does fishing.
Well, yeah, because we play catch a little bit more than
Right.
he casts. But
Need to fix that.
I know.
Screw that baseball.
Yeah.
The rivers, the river's within walking distance, so probably need to hit that up a little bit more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when he gets a little bit older and can walk down there by himself.
Yeah.
That'll just
Yep.
be second nature. That's the way I grew up, too. Except I had 2 creeks. One was a mile one way, one was a mile the other way. That's where I was at. It
Yeah,
was
I
a
grew
good
up
time.
next to a creek. I think that's because I remember when I was a kid being jealous of kids who grew up next to big bodies of water and could, fish for blues and flatheads and stuff. And in hindsight now, I don't think there could have been a better scenario for me because growing up on those creeks channel cat fishing, you have a lot more action.
Yeah.
And then you can learn the skills and techniques a little faster just because you have more bites. And granted, it's different. It's not the same as big water blue cats or even smallish river flatheads, but it kind of helps fuel that fire a little bit more.
And you saw a lot more changes in like depth and structure moved a lot more because it was so small. When it'd come up, it'd exponentially come up.
Yes and no. This one is a little different in that it was channelized or straightened.
Okay.
Like it was literally straight.
Like
So
a
it was
drainage
high.
ditch.
It was high for an hour and a half, and then it was back down. Can't fish this morning, but this afternoon we'll head out.
Yeah, or it was nuts, man. Like literally there was one day where me and my dad were fishing, or one evening, and then it just started. We showed up, storm's coming. No weather apps then, oh, it's cloudy. We're going fishing.
Hurry up. Yeah.
Like, oh, it's cloudy. Then you hear lightning. And we caught one. So it was like first minute. I didn't want to leave because we caught one. Like, bang.
Yeah.
Like, we can't go. And my old man's like, we're leaving. We hop in the truck and it starts downpouring. And we drove back over the bridge where we were fishing by the next day. And it was every bit of 10 feet higher.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Because when you straighten a river, you still have the same size watershed.
Yeah.
But you have a much shorter river, so the water level, and if it's windy in a mile section, you might have 3 miles of river because it's so windy.
Yeah.
But if you straighten it, now you have 1 mile of river, so it rises 3 feet faster,
Yep.
3 feet higher, all that stuff.
So it was a river, it wasn't a creek, or was it
What's
in
the
between?
difference?
I mean, I don't know.
I think there is an actual difference. Like there's a
Meandering versus non-meandering type of thing? Or that's
that I don't.
with a creek or
Meandering and non-meandering, there's probably some stipulations, but I don't.
Right.
They're probably stupid. I think there's actually a quantifiable difference between
Between
like a
creek
river and a stream.
Is it a crick or a creek?
According to the Meat Eater podcast, it's a crick if there's a tire in it, right?
Right. So I one of my fondest memories growing up was playing in these creeks or cricks, whatever, if you're a hillbilly, and seining it, like seeing what species were in there.
That was fun.
It was so cool, and I had no idea what they were at the time. Like until
just
I went
knew
to
they were different.
college,
Yeah.
that's a Johnny Darter. I had no idea.
Johnny Darters are one of the
Aren't they
cooler,
coolest? Say they're
coolest
coolest.
little fish.
Them and the rainbows. They're
Yep.
so neat.
I caught one last summer because I have a cast net that's like has the 1/4-inch mesh to try and catch shiners, and I caught one of them in the
they're
cast
so
net last
cool.
week or last year.
Yeah, we would drive our bikes, with the pegs on the back, and our buddies would be hanging out.
Oh, yeah.
We'd have our little seine nets, and we'd be like, hey, let's go see what we can catch in the creek. And
Yep.
we'd go seine fish, and it was a fun time.
Hell yeah.
Well, I think we'll segue that into the final cast.
The final cast, the last cast, not the final countdown. Da-da-da-da.
That hurt to listen. But Greg, basically, it's you just whatever you want to end on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to touch on anything or bring something up or tell Spencer he's an idiot, that's usually what
I just
want
want to see this. I want to see this boat race.
You do?
I'll be in last place. But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty averse to pushing my machines.
I like to go fast.
Yeah. I'm
because
not
I don't
as comfortable yet.
when you like racing's hard on motors, harder on motors than just driving.
Yeah.
And then in my mind, that's just going to lead to more repairs in the future.
Yeah, I have a Ricky Bobby aspect. Like my mentality is just like I like to go fast,
Sure.
full throttle, everything, except when I'm on the highways and interstates.
Or hit more rocks than I do.
I had to break it in, dude.
That's one way.
You don't have to break it to break it in.
Yeah.
It is good to know that the holes of those boats can handle
Oh, they're
that.
thick.
Yeah.
Yeah. The guy that's got it now is probably like wondering where those
Thicker
scratches
than a
came
Snicker.
from.
Oh, that was week. That was day one stuff.
Yeah, that was day one. Yeah. Yeah. There's no paint on there.
The guy who bought it, is he local?
So get this. The guy, he's down from Missouri.
So he's not local.
No.
Okay.
I sold it to him for much more than I bought it for.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically, besides
made
the
money
oil,
off
gas, I almost.
Good for you.
And then he decided he wanted one of those Pro Cats or the Easy Cats, a bigger catfishing boat with a prop.
Mm-hmm.
So he sold it. And I actually messaged him on Facebook. I'm like, hey, did you sell that? I kind of want to buy it back. And yeah, he sold it. So, oh well.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Now you can get it for half the price, probably.
Just
Third owner.
wait a couple of years.
You can buy mine this fall if you want.
I want a Predator.
You like that?
I like going with like 7 people. And my kid is big enough. He wants to go fishing. So when Jesse and I go out there in our little 14-footer,
He's pissed.
he is pissed.
Yeah,
He wants me to bring back every fish we catch.
just so he can see them.
He wants to see them and he wants to eat them. So I told him we caught that 140-pounder. I'm like, we let it go, buddy. Like we're not going to keep every fish. And he got so mad.
Kill him.
Yeah, he just wants to eat them. But yeah, he watches too many YouTube videos where they do the catch, clean, and cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what he wants to do is he wants to cook them.
Tell him I'll give him a 5-pound flathead.
Okay.
Wants a
Yeah.
5-pound flathead.
Can you get a smaller one so you can put it like a bait aquarium?
I caught the smallest flat. I didn't reel it in. A client reeled in the smallest flathead I've ever seen. Probably a month ago. Ate a chunk of night crawler. It was every bit of 4 inches long.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'll show you a picture of it.
That's
once
pretty
we're
cool.
done, but
Yeah.
Should have kept it.
That
but
would
I
have been
didn't.
perfect, yeah.
If it happens again, I will.
I'll put it in his beta tank. I'll eat the beta.
Ryan, what's your last cast?
I don't know. I'm kind of wondering this flathead versus beta challenge.
I don't think the beta's going to win that one. But
I think the beta will sit there. The flathead will sit there.
And all of a sudden, the
And
beta
then the
will just
lights
be gone.
the lights go off.
and no more
That's,
beta.
that's when
killed?
the shit goes down.
Right. Didn't.
Well, when I had that one in the tank in the aquarium, things just disappeared.
Yeah.
But it wasn't weird. I kind of expected it. But when you think about it, like I take a step back from myself and just observe this scenario, it is kind of funny because you flip a light switch and leave. Then you come back the next day and things are different.
It's just gone.
Yep.
Things are different.
Yeah, things don't look the same.
Yeah.
Those minnows turn into turds pretty quick.
Yep.
Did you ever sit there and just stare at that fish? Just like trying to think what he's thinking?
I looked at him a lot.
He didn't teach a whole lot.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, like I'll sit at my house and I'll just watch deer. Like I'll just watch them feed. I'll watch them interact with other deer. Like
I think deer so boring.
I'm the opposite. I think
I know.
catching fish with on rod and reels are so boring unless,
Unless there's deer to watch on the other side.
which I did. I caught, I shot a turkey once and I went and caught a mess of crappie. So that was kind of a mix
a good
between
day.
fishing and hunting. So that
And
was
if you'd
really
have found
cool.
some morels on the way,
Yeah,
that'd been awesome.
right.
I can totally see why people would think flatheads themselves are boring, but I find them really interesting because they're so different than every other fish. Like crappies, they just cruise around. Bass cruise around. Channels
But
cruise around. Walleyes
You
cruise
probably
around.
won't say this,
And flatheads just
but you're good at it. You're good at catching flatheads. And
not this year.
Well, I enjoy, which many of your followers enjoy watching you guys catch flatheads. Myself, like I'd rather watch you do it than go out and try to catch flathead myself because I'm probably not going to catch one.
Well, it can suck at times.
Yeah.
So there's how many hours that you don't have shown that you're not
Like I
doing.
said, a lot this year.
Yeah, like our 6-hour guide trips. We're sitting there for 6 hours. The way I've been running them, this first couple hours, we kind of hammer channel cat and then have some flathead rods out. And then when it starts getting towards the night, it gets pretty stale in conversation if there's no action.
Yeah.
But it only takes that one bite to turn the whole trip around.
So
I've had 2 trips where we put the only flathead in the boat in the last 15 or less minutes of the trip.
I got one at 11:15 the other night, and that's the only fish we caught that whole trip.
let me ask you this: have you heard of these things called diddy poles?
Yeah.
Legally, you could go out and set, 5 per person on your
Yeah.
boat and your boat,
I think
and then you
there's
go rod and reel fish.
I think there's some guys who guide diddy poles around here.
I've heard of it.
I think. I don't
Like that's all they do.
think so. So it's a thing. It's not my thing, but it's a thing.
I've taken one guy out, but I don't actively guide diddy pulling.
You don't charge him.
I don't actively guide.
Yeah.
Well, Jesse brings beer every time, so
Yeah.
That's
that's
due.
our deal.
That's-
and it's our boat, so
Like, let's the next time we go fishing, we'll take your boat. I'll bring beer.
Okay.
Beer and bait.
So, usually one of us brings beer, the other one brings bait, especially when we're kayak fishing.
yeah.
So can we go like an hour early and I'll go set lines and then you can drop me off the boat ramp if I go home and sleep?
Yeah, we'll check.
That's what I like to do.
In that case, you just bring your boat.
Oh,
And we'll bring our boat.
I was just gonna bring the beer.
That way we don't have to run you around.
Right. I mean, it's just 5.
I get why Ditty pools are appealing because
Yes.
they're doing the fishing when you don't have to be there.
Yep.
I'm weird in that I just love being out there.
Me too. That's the best part. When everything's quiet
Watching.
and you just
I like
chill.
that. I like the river and how it flows, and it's very.
It flows different at night too. Like you look at the current during the day and it's a river and it's flowing, and I feel like the water moves with like more meaning.
It's relaxing.
It's more
Yep.
powerful at
Yep.
night. Carries. It's not literally deeper, but it's deeper.
But I tell you what, when
there's
you
more unknown around you.
Yeah,
when you wake up in the morning
It's
and
like
your
syrup
back hurts.
instead of water. Like the water gets thicker consistency at night. I don't know.
Have you had the Air Guard fly over you yet with their spotlights?
No.
Oh.
Really?
We had one night over by that club we were talking about.
Yeah.
That with the poles and stuff.
Yeah.
My buddy Brad actually, this probably one of the last times I went camping because I don't like to camp, sleep out on the sand because of my back.
Get a cop.
Get a cop. Yeah.
Well, I could, but then there's sand everywhere. I have excuses for everything.
I'm
Like
sure.
fishing.
And I have solutions.
And you
for
missed
all
a
the
lot.
Right.
And that's why you
So
don't
he-
catch rod and reel catfish.
Brad caught about a 30-pounder, and I have pictures for proof. But that night we had the Air Guard fly over us with their helicopter and their lights, and they were probably doing some training stuff. It was pretty cool, but it was kind of weird.
They're just looking for stray pole dancers.
I mean that very well, that could be it.
I mean, they're used to this bright lights, so
No, and
maybe
they
they just instinctively start dancing.
It's science.
Deer freeze, strippers dance.
they put turn on the music, and there they go. You're gonna gain some followers after this podcast.
Yeah, I think I've scared most of them off.
Yeah, I'm not my primus form. I've gotten a cumulative of like 9 hours of sleep the last 3 days. It feels like.
Yeah, my last 2 weeks.
You look like you're tired. Your eyes are.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm a hurting unit, but
It's all worth it.
publish
In
or
the end.
perish.
That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I got to do after this is go edit the one for Friday.
Yep.
I have to go home and work some more.
Yeah. It's fun.
It is. It's a life.
Well,
But if you're going to get on top, that's what you're going to have to do.
Right.
my
That's
last
it.
cast. We'll keep her moving. Thanks for coming on the podcast. You're full of shit, and we appreciate
Thank you.
it here. So that
Absolutely.
works out.
Fit
I fit right in.
That's right. That's right. I don't know. I'm just having fun this year, being out on the water more. There's frustration with the difficulty of fishing, but I'm lucky that I get to be out on the water more and have the opportunity because I'm out on the water more. So that's pretty neat. I moved, so I don't have as much road time. I just have more fishing
That
time.
is awesome.
And that's
Nice.
pretty cool.
Yeah, like that spot that we fished last night was what, 15 minutes from here?
20.
20?
21.
Mine was an hour 5.
Right. Right. And I used to be in those shoes,
Yeah.
but not anymore.
And it's still worth the drive because I literally, in my home county, cannot get my boat in the water anywhere.
So, moral of the story is I'm just fortunate.
You made a good move.
that I have
You made a good move.
that I have these opportunities, and it's pretty cool. So I'm
It is.
pretty happy about that.
Yeah. And me too, because if I'm ever down here and I can't make it home and didn't bring my camping stuff, I got a place to crash. So.
You have 2 couches to pick from and a spare bed
Perfect. I'll take a couch.
because we got a split. We got a split level, so we have an upper living room and a lower living room, which means we had to get another couch.
It just had to happen.
Yep.
I would have an empty room.
And we have a long one, which actually, when I get home late, instead of waking up Ella, I just
That's
fall
home?
asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
And then we also have one that's sized for you. It's a little shorter.
Perfect.
I'll probably just curl up on the rug and hope the dogs come cuddle me and keep me warm.
They'll be in bed. They know better.
Don't you got a cot? You can just throw it.
I have several, actually. No, that's Saturday night. Hopefully it doesn't rain a whole lot. We got like a 60% chance, but I got 3 guys coming in from Illinois,
I hope you're right.
and we're going to do a all-nighter on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that big time. Get out, and we're going to grill on the sand, and we're going to hang out and tell a bunch of lies and hopefully stick a couple big ones.
Are you going to go by me?
No, I'll probably go north.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna
I'll probably go up.
Come eat
a
your
little bit
brats,
north.
and then I'll go home and sleep.
No, I've got a pretty good spot, kind of 45 minutes away from me instead of hour and 15. So
Nice.
I think I'll probably take them there. There's plenty of sandbar to spread out, get our rods out, spread them.
Cool.
There's some different scenarios you could hit on that sandbar that spreading rods out can be beneficial. So
Nice. I'm gonna probably go run some lines with Jesse when he gets back from the Disney cruise, and then I got a lot of laundry to get caught up on before we go to Puerto Rico. And
Big stuff.
I got a guy coming in with a forestry head. He's gonna grind up about 3 acres, so I got to meet up with him.
that's cool.
So I get my deer plots in.
Yeah, hell yes.
So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's a never-ending season when
Right.
you own deer property.
Yep.
It's just one season, and it's called Get It Ready.
Yep. Yep. We got to get the deer blind. My buddy has it on order, so I'm put a deer blind. Have all the food plots. The beans are coming up. The clover's popping. So
Hell yeah.
I'm
It's all
behind the
coming
ball,
together.
but it is.
Yeah.
So.
And when you see that big one coming, that coyote coming down the hill,
Yeah,
you're gonna
scaring
spook
it away.
him the other
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
So if you see a coyote, kill it. That's my final
Right.
cast.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Next week we'll have another video coming out. So if you're still watching, like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.
We appreciate the hell out of it.
Check you later.